In my Father's house there's many mansions, but in my house there's a room that I have especially reserved for my Jesus. Hey, there's a room in my house reserved for Jesus. Hey, there's a room in my house reserved for the Lord. Oh yes, he come as he please, and I never hear him leave. There's a room in my house reserved for the Lord. Hey, there's a room. What kind of room? A hallelujah room. A hallelujah room. There's a room. What kind of room? A fiery room. A fiery room. There's a room. What kind of room? A Holy Ghost room. A Holy Ghost room. There's a room. A revival room. Hey, there's a room in my house reserved for Jesus. Hey, there's a room in my house reserved for the Lord. Oh yes, he come as he please, and I never hear him leave. There's a room in my house reserved for the Lord. Hey, hey, he no under construction, he no need renovation. Me got him no need invitation. Him a me salvation.
What she say? What she say? She said, "There's a room. There's a room. There is a room." Marian All, Minister Marian All. How are you, everybody? How is everybody doing this evening?
Come on now, there's a room in my house reserved for the Lord. Oh yes, he come as he please, and I never hear him leave. There's a room in my house reserved for the Lord. Hey, him not fit here enter. Me got him know who me a center. I coulda under tenter. Me a worship in thy presence. I will pick up on me knee. And me God put him on for me. Satan followers all of them flee. In this room me God set me free. There's a room in my house reserved for Jesus. Hey, there's a room in my house reserved for the Lord. Oh yes, he come as he please, and I never hear him leave. There's a room in my house reserved for the Lord. I pray in that room, I worship in that room, I fast in that room, call for me Savior in that room, I cry in that room, testify in that room, glorify in that room. Yes, that room. There's a room in my house reserved for Jesus. And there's a room in my house reserved for the Lord.
There is a room. There is a room.
Yes, he come as he please.
Yeah, man, it's the Hot Topics right here on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network. Still trying to get myself situated. Now we're live on YouTube also. We're live on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network, CaribbeanVibesRadio.com, covering the globe like no one else can.
There's a room. Yes, Lord.
Also on Linkage Radio.
There's a room.
We just enjoy the music, everybody. Enjoy the music while we get ourselves situated right here on the Big Bad Station, yeah? Just go and enjoy the music, alright? Sister Pat, how you doing? How you doing? Enjoy the music. I'll be with you shortly.
Oh God, oh God. Some days high, some days low, but I will not give up. No, I won't let go. I know God will make a way for me. Yeah. Oh, I did troubles on the left, troubles on the right.
Yes, he is. He's gonna make a way. He's gonna make a way somehow, eh? He will. He will. He will. He will. He will make a way. He will make a way. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you are in tune. You are in tune with Chris Wilby, the Vibes Master, on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network, covering the globe like no one else can. Also live on Fit FM, Your Life, Your Music, and Linkage Radio. It is indeed the hot topics. Yeah. So I want to welcome everybody. And forgive my tardiness. As I told you last week, trust me, I am I am burning the iron at all different ends. It's not just both ends. I'm burning it all in the middle too. So, coming in and rushing into the studio, trying to get everything set up, and it's sometimes a little bit time consuming, and gotta get everything set up. You gotta get the camera at the angle that you want it. You have got to try to get the lighting. Oh yeah. And then you're setting up your music, everything. It's a production. Let's just say it is indeed a production, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, we're here. And the original introduction that we normally come with, that gone. We not even go bother with that this evening. We just all get right into the program. So, how's everybody doing? I am here. I'm good. It's the hot topics, and I want to talk this evening about a number of things. The school has been in the news. Yeah, the school in the news. Recently, we heard of killing of a schoolboy in St. Thomas, and that has been debated. It is being debated. It is being discussed. And I am trying to figure out if the parents are dropping the ball. It's all over Jamaica right now. So we're talking about the main topic this evening is the indiscipline in our schools in Jamaica. That is the main topic. The indiscipline in our schools in Jamaica. I, for once, will not pretend as if when I was going to school, this thing did not exist. Because if we try to paint that picture, we would be very hypocritical, to say the least. That's putting it mildly. I think we would be lying through our teeth if we said that when we were going to school, this thing never happened. But one of the things we have to confront is that we used to have violence in our schools. But truth be told, I'm not certain that it was as violent as it is today. We always have bullying in our schools. Always. And I believe that my parents would say the same thing. So every generation face this thing. in every, I think I would probably say every country, or in most countries, face this thing. And wherever you have children gathering, whether it be on buses, or in schools, or wherever they are, and there are no immediate grown-ups or adults in the surroundings, in the immediate surroundings, you will have children getting out of control and, do things that they're not supposed to do. One of the things that I think is a component of this violence that is happening now, and as I say, we have to speak about what is happening now, because it has happened in the past and whatnot. But there is, in my opinion, a difference. In my opinion, there is a difference. Because I think that the parents need to play a bigger role. And I don't think that, somebody said the parents need parenting. Once upon a time, it took a village to raise a child. These days, people are afraid to even say anything. I mean, the grown-ups are afraid, literally are afraid to say anything to these students because, and that in and of itself is a tragedy. I remember growing up, you see, and I never fight at school. I never fight. I was always a chicken because I don't want nobody to beat me up. I'm not a very big guy, so I know how to keep the peace. I know how to keep myself from being beaten. I don't want any, I believe I have a very handsome face, and I don't want any scars on it, I don't want anybody, not that I can't fight, don't want anybody to believe that I can't fight. I want people to understand that, this face, I don't want it to get damaged, and it doesn't matter how you can fight. If you get into a fight, you're going to, you can't tell what the other person is going to do or where they go hit you. So I always try to protect myself, and been doing a very good job at it from school days. But I said that to say that even though I was I never got caught up in fighting, there was one thing in the back of my mind, apart from me thinking about my handsome face. I was always thinking about my mother. Yeah. I know that if I get into a fight at school and my mother hears me get into a fight at school, I'd probably get a whipping when I go home. I know that for a fact. And so, and beyond that too, my mother was a disciplinarian. And there are certain things that she instilled in all of us. And we carried it out into the society. And that is why I do not believe that schools have a role to play. That's why you will hear me say, and I've said it on this program, that a lot of times the draconian measures that schools try to play, it's not going to work. Yes, schools need to have their rules and they need to be to discipline students and all of that. However, I strongly believe that 90% of the discipline is going to come from your home. That is where it is going. It must start in the home. There is, in my mind, there is no if, ands, nor but. These children nowadays, they have no guidance. They have no structure. They have no behavior. They have no respect for themselves and the elders around them. They are just their parents. And I heard one commentator said something that stuck with me this week. Absolutely spot on. And the person said, when you're going at school, there are certain number of teachers, parents rather, that will show up to the PTA meeting and other events. It's a set number of parents, always showing up. The others, they don't show up for anything. And it doesn't matter even if you call them, you want to, they're not showing up. But make you take with the phone. Pitney misbehave and you take with the phone one day. And that same parent who never show up at school for nothing at all will broke their neck to come up there and fight off teacher. That is the level of disconnect that we have in our society. And I remember going to school. And there were certain students that their parents used to behave in that way. I remember one person right now. I remember one of my classmates right now when I was going to primary school. I remember that guy. His mother would come to if they even if teacher talked to the boy too hard, the mother would find herself over school. And not in a would want to come cuss off teacher. Teacher afraid to talk to the boy. Afraid of the mother. So you have those parents who believe that they love their children and they will not discipline the child. They will not tell the child, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. You must carry yourself a certain way. You must behave in a certain way. You must be home by a certain time. You must be in class by a certain time. I remember I used to get beaten, from teacher. There are certain things that made us we were scared when we were going to school. Some of the teacher them they wicked but I don't know, drive a little fear in you that you wanted to, I remember I was in grade 2. There are some things that stick with you, man. They just don't leave you. I was in grade 2. And I got a whipping from Miss Grant because I was late for class. Grade 2. And teacher beat me because I was late for class. Needless to say, I always hustling for go to class because I don't want to get no beaten. Any day I feel like I go late, I want to start cry before I reach class. Grade 2, little bit. Yes, man, I hustling to go to class. I hustling, and them times transportation are so easy to get, You're traveling on the from York to Morant Bay. And my mother used to put us on we used to have to try to catch the bus. And it wasn't the taxi. It was the big bus, what them call it, country bus. That was my mode of transportation, a lot of times. Because my mother had to try to save, and the taxi fare was a little bit more expensive than the bus fare. So my mother always tried to tell me, try to catch a bus. And apart from that too, the bus came at a certain time. And when you miss that bus, the taxi's always full in the morning. Because big people are going to work. Taxi now stop and pick up no picnic. So when that bus left you, you're late. So everybody try to catch a bus at morning time. Nowadays, no picnic, no business about late. We're in a class. Because if they're late, the teacher can't talk to them. Them box down teacher. Or lay away a teacher a road and all that. Something. And teacher afraid too. So teacher not talk to them. If teacher talk to them, a teacher go get what this other student get. So it is, it is very, very sad to see where we are. And I also saw something that, let me see if I can find this video of the reaction of some of the students. Some of the picnic them, why I tell you, them not. I'm gonna play a clip here from TVJ. Let me see if I can bring this clip up from TVJ. And this is what is happening in St. Thomas right now. I don't like these things, because I'm from St. Thomas, when me hear them tongue from St. Thomas, so me not really, me don't want to report them things, man. I don't want to report these things, because my parish that good things more here, me don't want to hear a picnic kill picnic, but it is what it is, right? So, all right, let's see if we can bring up this clip here, and then we're going to discuss it afterwards.
A police officer confronting a student just outside the Morant Bay bus park in St. Thomas on Tuesday. A scene that's becoming far too familiar for authorities as they move to rein in on unruly behavior among students in the area. Now, this is the very bus park that became a crime scene on Monday when 14-year-old Kaylan Doyle of Seaforth High was fatally stabbed by his schoolmate. CVM News understands that every day the town center, particularly this bus park, is flooded with students, and with them a level of indiscipline that many say is spiraling out of control. Among those on the front lines, transport operators.
Miss, a big people them. Hold on. You see from around there, sir? I'll feed them place. So them fight over there, sir, and look woman over there, sir, and do all what them do, and then go gamble. That's the way the school pick them work. You understand? And the parents have nothing, then they home, the parents they need parenting too. So as long as we not have that, can't better.
Winston has been a transport operator in the parish for decades. He's seen the good, the bad, and now what he describes as the unfortunate.
No, the police can do so much. The principal come here in the morning, have to send them to school. The police come here, have to send them home, have to send them to school. Sometimes here in the nights, all 7, 8 o'clock, them in the park here. Parents not taking control of their kids. And it's unfortunate to see one of our students has lost their life like that.
But he says this isn't just a bus park problem.
The gang in the school have to get rid of. You have some boy in a school, and then run school, and then control school. So you see, if all a little youth like him say, you want, yeah, some other bullying them man.
Like the transport operators, school vendors say they're also caught in the crossfire. Carol Murphy works outside Seaforth High School. She says fights are almost routine here, and most days she fears for her life.
We out here and even apart them, sometimes we fear for ourselves because we don't know what them up to. The homes where them are come from, you can't tell. You don't know what the parents said to them regarding if no child attack them. And anyway, because sometimes they say defend yourself. Yeah, so I'm afraid of them.
But I feel like them need more guidance counselor at the school and for the youth. One guidance counselor can't keep the school. They need more, not every school, more than one guidance counselor.
Now, Kaylan's death came on the same day a video went viral on social media of a group of Jamaica College students physically assaulting their schoolmate in what appeared to be a school bathroom. Both of these incidents just weeks after a 16-year-old Ocho Rios High student was killed after being hit in the head with a chair by his schoolmate. National Coordinator for the School Safety and Security Branch within the Education Ministry, Richard Troop, says despite these incidents, the public shouldn't overlook the work being done by schools to keep students safe.
It's unfortunate because I think one thing, these series of incidents that have been happening in a very short period of time, I think it compromises the effort of our nation, school and educators to do what they have been doing and doing so well to create safe and secure learning environment for boys and girls.
He insists the solution requires an all-hands-on-deck approach.
There's no silver bullet to resolve the violent situation in our country, and it requires every single stakeholder. What we're seeing display in our children are learned behavior from their homes, from the communities, from the music that they digest every single day. And we're saying, how do we now create a more caring, supportive environment, not just for my child and your child at home, but for everybody's child, because it takes a village to raise a child. It is a wake-up call for all of us.
Amoy Harriet for CVM News.
Yeah, takes a village to raise a child. But the village them not really safe, you know, to be honest with you. Because you wanna hear what the lady say? Say she afraid. She afraid. I'm a laughing matter, you know. When me go to school, they me something here. Big people afraid. A picnic. Afraid of what? You get a box down. By the way, you see that brother there where you say, I know him personally, you know, where you see in the video there. Yeah, Tonic, we call him. And he has been in the transport system in St. Thomas for decades. Because from me there, St. Thomas, that man there, at one point he was a backup man. Now him is a transport operator. I think he's a owner of buses and all of them things there. But big up yourself, Mr. Tonic. See you still holding the fort. You look good though. Yeah, still look young and strong. Big man for me still, but yeah, but anyway, it seemed to be spreading all over the country. I don't understand when these things flare up. It's like a demon goes so there's a wind that blows across the country. When you realize it, it is happening in Ocho Rios, it is happening in Kingston, it is happening in St. Thomas. I mean, like, and then after a while, these things will just go down again, die down. And because when I heard about the one in Ocho Rios or something, I am like, I thought it was the same one in St. Thomas. I never knew it was a different one. And then there was this one with Jamaica College where he was seen on video beating the guy, you know, to a pulp. if you all notice, even when you have the, what do you call it? The woman being killed in Jamaica, it's like a speed, boom, 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 and then it just died down for a while. I don't understand this. So, recently, we're still on the Indiscipline. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to participate in the discussion, 508-762-7621 WhatsApp line. Call me on the WhatsApp line, 508-762-7621 WhatsApp line. Please call me on the WhatsApp line, 508-762-7621. When you call, please be a little bit patient for me to pick up the phone, all right? So it's 508-762-7621 if you have any contribution. What do you believe is happening in Jamaica with the indiscipline, and do you believe that the parents need to step up? Because I honestly believe that the parents are not doing enough. I believe that this problem is the parents can do much, much better than what they are doing. And if the police officers will tell you, because the police officers can only do so much, The police officers, they, in the mornings, what they're doing now, they go to the transport center and send off the children, make sure that they send them off to school, that they're not gathering there. But police can't police them boy 24/7s, So parents need to stop treating schools like a daycare. Yeah. That is the criticism that's coming from the commanding officer for the St. Thomas Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Deputy Superintendent of Police Rohan Ritchie. He was responding to news that a student of Seaford High School died after being stabbed by a schoolmate. The incident took place near the Morant Bay Transportation Center on Monday. It unfolded between 2:15 and 3 p.m. when a dispute that began on the school compound escalated. The deceased is 14 years old. 14. Is Kayland Doyle of a Bath address in the parish. The police say 3 suspects, including the alleged attacker, have been taken into custody. They range in the age from 13 to 17. Commanding officer for the St. Thomas Division, Deputy Superintendent Rowan Ritchie says the tragic incident occurred in spite of a series of interventions by the school and the police over the past several months.
The school, to my knowledge, have done a series of intervention. Law enforcement have been doing a lot of work in terms of intervention in all the schools, and in particular St. Thomas, where we have a number of schools where we have to send school resource officers there to talk to the students and to maintain some level of discipline. We have also rolled out earlier this year a no linger strategy, as in no waiting, no staying at the transport center. Officers are out there encouraging students to get on their buses, get on their taxis, and to get home. And that is done in the morning and it is done in the afternoon. We have a series of police youth club meetings with them, and the general intervention is strong.
The Seaford stabbing followed a case of assault at Jamaica College in St. Andrew, in which a group of 6 boys ganged upon another student on the school compound. DSP Ritchie says the incidents are not isolated, as there are challenges in several other schools across the island. He believes that the missing link in curbing wayward behavior among some teens is parental involvement.
Outside of the efforts of the school and law enforcement, we want to ask the question, where are the parents? You know, I'm a parent myself and I have 2 children and I don't send them to school to misbehave and I don't send them to school armed. Equally, I understand supervision to be what your children does when you're not around. So it makes the question as to what is happening at some of the home, why the children, whenever they leave the precinct of their abode and they're on the thoroughfare, they become a problem where public order is concerned. As a country, we are going to have to look at what is happening with our young people.
DSP Richard stresses that rearing children must be the responsibility of parents and not the state.
The reporting has nothing to do with the good standing of that school, just that the students happen to attend that particular school. We're having challenges in a number of other schools across there, and society must step up now. I mean, I think it is time parents stop sending their children to school and use the school as a daycare, just to hold them there for a period of time until parents get off the hustling or get off work. It is high time that ceases. And it is not a situation where the police is going to grow people's children. They can't. Our effort is really surrounding public order and public safety. And of course, moral suasion, etc., etc. No government can grow people's children. Parents must step up.
Well, I may agree with you, boss. I have nothing more to add to that. I think we can end it there. Police, you can't expect the police to grow your picnic. If you expect the police to grow your picnic is not going to come out good. The parents, them need to step up. Them need to step up. Yeah, man. The parents, them. As I think a lot of people are saying that, hey, listen, these children are big man and big woman them. That's what you saw in the reporting from CVM News, yeah. Big man and big woman them. Nobody can talk to them. Oh, it can't go. So they want to continue to kill off them one another. You have one in Ocho Rios and one in St. Thomas. In only a few weeks. Killed. Not only those boys are dead, which has devastated the lives of that family, but the perpetrators, their lives are also ruined along with their families. Because now they have to face the consequences. And it's all well and good when you try to pretend to be a bad man. It's all good, you know. Until you have to face the music. Until the police come and take you and put you in that jail cell. And no, it's concrete. You have to sleep on concrete because there are no mattresses in them. I never knew that until recently, you know. That is the tough place. I'm like, what? Yeah. Bob Marley said, cold ground was my bed last night. Rockstone was my pillow. Yeah. When you go to jail, cold ground is your bed. Maybe some of these boys need to get a tour of what prison is like, of what jail is like. Let them understand from early that, no, you don't want to come to this place. You know? I tell you, we're not in good shape. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to participate in the discussion, 508-762-7621. If you but in the meantime, let me get to some music, and
Pulling down of strongholds.
you can hit me up if you want to.
You know? But again,
508-815 508-762-7621
it's in a high and low place.
508-762-7621.
Y'all got the
No hanky panky around here.
Now go let down Jesus know. 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 No dilly dally, no bend down low. Now go let down Jesus know. No hanky panky, no G.I. Joe. Now go let down Jesus know. 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 No dilly dally, no bend down low. Now go let down Jesus know. No hanky panky, no G.I. Joe. Now go let down Jesus know.
What a controversy between me and the enemy. The Messiah take me out of captivity. Me got the power and the authority. We conquer the enemy. Well, I remember when I used to be sickly. Looking at me house, you think a pharmacy. Look how me strong, me fit and me healthy. I got alone could have given me the victory.
I got a complete cleansing, Lord. Oh, it was not just hands and feet. Not only my hands, Lord. Not only my feet. Not only my hands, Lord. Not only my feet. I got a complete cleansing, Lord. It was not just hands and feet.
Lady Camille, how are you?
Not only my hands, Lord.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
Feet.
Everything good?
Only my hands, Lord, not only my feet. Keep me true, Lord.
Jesus, keep me true. Keep me true, Lord. Jesus, keep me true. Chumma.
But there's a race that I must run. And the victory to be won. Give me power every hour. Keep me true, Father, Father. Keep me true, Father.
When the enemy come in like a flood.
Cover me under the blood.
When the enemy come in like a flood.
Cover me under the blood.
When the enemy come in like a flood.
Cover me under the blood, and I shall be satisfied. A mighty long way, Lord, a mighty long way. Look where you brought us from, a mighty long way. Too many trials, Lord, a mighty long way. Look where you brought us from, oh God, a mighty long way. Lord, you sit on the heavenly throne. You are God and God alone.
God alone.
You're a miracle. You're a miracle. Yes, you're a miracle. You're a miracle. You're a miracle. You're a working God. Yes, you're a miracle. Yes, you sit on the heavenly throne.
Lord,
You are God and God alone.
you're a miracle.
You're a miracle.
Yes, you're a miracle.
You're a miracle.
You're a miracle.
You're a
Working God.
Lord, now go let down Jesus know. 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 Dilly dally, no bend down low.
Now go let down Jesus know.
No hanky panky, no G.I. Joe.
Now go let down Jesus know.
Now go let
No hanky panky around here. Jai Kingston. Yeah, man. Featuring Radic. Yeah. No hanky panky, no. Now go let down Jesus know. Yeah. Alright. I'll get some prodigal son in there. Where's it?
Prodigal son.
Yeah, man.
She's so mighty.
Bigger than what people say.
We are bigger than giants.
We're coming back in a moment. We're going to be talking about something that happened recently in Parliament in Jamaica. Hi, I tell you.
Glory to
Very interesting.
magnificent God. Chesney mega magnificent.
Gigantic God.
Chesney mega ginormous.
Magnanimous.
Mega magnificent, you magnanimous.
Jesus bigger than what people say.
Nigga, nigga, nigga.
Jesus bigger than what people say. I hear them talking, hear them running out their mouth, but you're bigger than what people say.
Don't tobacco.
Jesus bigger
Oh God, you're big, you're big. Yes, man. You're big, big so big, big, big. Bigger than anything in this world, yeah, man. Big. What a big God. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. And yeah. So, let's turn to a little bit of politics. Yeah, my favorite thing to talk about. My favorite thing to talk about. Now, opposition leader Mark Golding has raised serious concerns about the NARA reconstruction bill and is urging the government to revisit the proposed law to strengthen oversight and clarify roles. His call at Tuesday's meeting of the House of Representatives was later echoed by government MP and former Attorney General Marlene Malahou Fort. Government has pitched the establishment of NARA central to coordinating and fast-tracking Jamaica's recovery from Hurricane Melissa. All right, so they're talking about NARA. National Reconstruction and something. That's what the NARA is about. I'm going to have to... I had it written down somewhere. But I'm going to have to find that to tell you what NARA is. But it is a bill that is being proposed basically to rebuild Jamaica. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, they want to form an entity that will oversee the reconstruction of Jamaica. And what the government is saying, according to Prime Minister and the government side, is that they need this legislation to be pushed through quick. The People's National Party is saying, not so fast, hold a minute. Because you guys rushed to write this bill, and we are seeing problems in the bill. Because when you build this thing out, it is going to cause problems in terms of corruption if we do not have the necessary oversight. And so Mark Golding, the leader of the opposition, was making his contribution, and not only him, but other members of the House are having serious concerns with some of what is in the bill. And they're not saying that they're against this bill. They're not saying that they're against this bill. What they're saying is, hey, listen, we understand that the bill is necessary. However, how it is being constructed is a problem. There are no oversight. So I'm going to play a clip from opposition leader Mark Golding raising serious concerns about the reconstruction bill being created in Parliament.
All that is addressed in the schedule to this bill relates to the CEO of the authority, nothing else. So it really doesn't, the schedule does not have effect as to the constitution and procedure of the authority. It really only governs the CEO. And that is extraordinary. There's no provision, as I've said, for any board of the authority, for any audit committee, for an internal auditor, for any risk management functions, anything of that nature. And this is an entity that is going to be responsible for administering and managing the expenditure of billions and billions of US dollars worth, if we're to understand, both from the public sector side, but also to facilitate private sector investors as well through speeded up, expedited procedures. This cannot be right. And when I spoke last week, I said this bill ought to go to a joint select committee. And it should. Even if you require that joint select committee to complete its deliberations within a finite period of time, perhaps a month, because of the urgency of this, it needs to have the benefit of interventions and contributions from stakeholders, from the wider society that have a strong interest in this. We also need provisions that speak to, in the functions, speak to prudence, efficiency and transparency in expending public resources. That should be there. There should be reference to those things. Value for money in procurement. That should be mentioned. Risk management functions. That should be mentioned. Fairness in the procurement and hiring practices. That's a particular matter of concern to the opposition. We would like to see a principle embodied in the legislation of non-discrimination for political affiliation or other characteristics like religion, ethnicity, and so on. That is missing as well. There needs to be in this because of the level of resources that will be expended by this. Subsection 3 of Section 4 says that for the purpose of performing its functions under the Act, the authority may, subject to any regulations that may be made, do anything and enter into any transaction which, in the opinion of the authority, is necessary to ensure the performance of its functions. Anything. And that effectively means that the CEO can unilaterally decide the scope and boundaries of its activities, because the CEO is the only required employee. There will be other employees, but the CEO is the only person who has real authority under this legislation within the construct of NARA itself. And it says that he, or she, can do anything and enter into any transaction which, in the opinion of the authority, which means his or her opinion, is necessary to ensure the performance. Madam Speaker, I turn to Clause 5, which deals with the appointment of the Chief Executive Officer. The law is not clear as to who the Chief Executive Officer reports to. There is a reporting section where the minister can require reports, but that's a different thing from a management perspective and a governance perspective. Who does the CEO report to? It's not clear. How is the CEO's deliverables decided? What are the key performance indicators applicable to the authority and to the CEO's functions? Nothing at all on this. It says that in Section 10 that NARA reports to the Prime Minister, but there's nothing about the CEO's reporting responsibility. And that is a big issue. Clause 7 talks about the Minister's ability to appoint committees to examine and report to the Minister on any matter arising out of or connected with the authority's powers and duties. But
that is Mark Golden, opposition leader, outlining a number, and he was going on and on, a number of issues that he found with the bill. And I agree with the opposition. I agree with the opposition because, ladies and gentlemen, we have to think about power. There's a saying that says power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So we can't just believe that our leaders will not do bad things. There needs to be oversight, and what the opposition leader is saying, hey, listen, man, you need to go back to the drawing board with this thing. You need to go back to the drawing board. And I totally agree and support what the leader of the opposition is saying. Now, there's also Marlene Malahou Fort, who broke ranks with the government. Marlene Malahou Fort is the former Attorney General, and she is a Jamaica Labour Party Member of Parliament. But she is literally saying the same things that the government, the opposition is saying. She's saying, hey, listen, man. Yeah, something all right. She is a member of, this is, I don't know if anything like this has been done in modern day politics in Jamaica. Maybe before I was born. But not since I'm alive and following politics. I've never seen a member of the political party, a member of the governing party, break rank with the party and come out so strongly against the government on an issue. And I raise my hats to Mrs. Marlene Malahou Fort, because I know the politics running on. I know how competitive the politics is. And let me tell you something, man. Marlene Malahou Fort, them go come after her, you know. You can take that to the bank. I don't know if, I mean, the concerns that she raised are legitimate concerns. However, under normal circumstances, this don't happen. But I think Marlene is, a little bit free, because they kind of disrespected her, the government, and the Prime Minister and everybody else. I don't know if they had a falling out or what. But if you remember, you know, in the last term, Mrs. Malahou Fort was a minister of government. No, she's not. They just strip her. She's one of the few backbenchers in the house, you know. Very qualified person, very qualified lady, very bright. And she was a minister of government not so long ago. She was responsible for constitutional reform and the constitutional matters and all of that. She was riding high in the last administration before the election. And after the election, they stripped her of all her portfolio. So I'm wondering if now she just jab them, just give them a little. I am wondering. She is a member of parliament because she won her seat. So they can't strip her of that. They can't take that away from her because they didn't give it to her. The people of her constituency gave that to her. So they can strip her of the government, the goodies from the government side, you know. Don't give her any committee. Don't give her any whatever. I don't know what happened. But all I know is that in this bill, she is coming out swinging against her own party. So, according to the news, Jamaica Labour Party Member of Parliament for West Central St. James, Marlene Malahou Fort, has broken ranks with her government colleagues and has criticized the proposed legislation for the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority. That is the name of the entity. It's a very long name. National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority. They nickname it NARA. She raised her concerns in Parliament on Tuesday during her contribution to the debate on the bill. Her intervention was met by a standing ovation from the opposition benches. Once established, NARA will be a statutory body mandated to lead, coordinate, and accelerate recovery and resilient infrastructure projects following the damage wrought by Hurricane Melissa. It's intended to fast-track approvals and reduce bureaucracy delays with a direct reporting relationships to the Prime Minister. But according to MP Malahoo Fort, the bill in its current form needs to be reworked. In other words, when I go back, go write the bill. You know, right, good. You know, turn good. Some things in there, some things missing, and some clarification needed.
So, Madam Speaker, this is too important for us not to have the kind of buy-in and take into account the very valid concerns that have been raised. So, Madam Speaker, on that note, I invite the Prime Minister piloting the bill and the team to take into account the very valid points that have been made. The bill needs some reworking.
She raised some concern about the authority's management structure.
The bill does not say what qualifies someone to be appointed as the CEO. Again, it is not unusual because other legislation allows for appointment as the minister thinks fit. But when you see what we're seeking to do, would it be helpful to get a profile of what the CEO will look like? Competency profile, what would qualify someone to hold the office of CEO, since if the bill were to proceed in this form, that person would equate to the authority.
Fort, the former Attorney General, also called into question the oversight relationship outlined in the bill.
What we find, based on how the bill is drafted, is that you can have self-oversight and you can have self-monitoring. Now, self-monitoring can take place, but I don't know that that is the kind of monitoring that you would want. It was my understanding that the authority would be monitoring other entities, and someone else would be monitoring the authority without creating all of the duplications and all of the problems that we are so well aware of. Well, in the current form, the bill does not achieve that goal and would have to be reworked.
Also, among the points with which Malahoo Fort took issue was the nature of the authority's functions. She described them as broad and expansive.
When the minister steps in effect, the minister can do anything. That is how wide it is. And the step-in order, clause 24, which we were directed to pay close attention to, tells you that the minister can approve, subject to any term or condition, an application made or submitted to the authority by the authority to an approving entity on which the approving entity has not made a decision.
MP Malahoo Fort says in the current form, the NARA bill will not facilitate the authority achieving in its goals.
When the minister steps in effect, the minister can do anything. That is.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for North Central St. Andrew, Delano Saveright, is firmly defending the NARA bill.
Madam Speaker, this foundation is structure, it's not chaos. Under clauses 1 and 2, the purpose is clear. It's post-disaster reconstruction and long-term resilience. Under clause 3, NARA is a body corporate, not informal, not ad hoc, but a legal institution with defined responsibilities and obligations.
That was Delano Saveright, MP for North Central St. Andrew. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I see a lot of people cussing Marlene Malahoo Fort. But you see, that's what happened with when you put yourself and back politicians, you know. When you're a diehard politician, your party can do nothing wrong. So what there a lot of people, not everybody, the rational, well-thinking people, like me, is supporting the decision by Ms. Malahoo Fort, because if that's what you are elected to do, to represent your constituency, and representing your constituency mean that you want to see the government function effectively and manage the limited resources at its disposal That's what you want to see. And Mrs. Malahoo Fort is guarding the taxpayers' money. She's not saying, hey, listen, we don't want the Naira bill. She's saying it needs reworking. Her words means, therefore, you need to strengthen the oversight. And I do understand what they are trying to do, because they, the Prime Minister said it. Say, hey, listen, man, what you call it? Oversight, not oversight. Procurement takes too long, and that's why we don't have more development in Jamaica, because it takes forever for a project to go through procurement and come back out and before the project can start or whatever. So it takes a while. But what you don't want to do, ladies and gentlemen, we do not want to have the procurement process be so drastically reduced that it doesn't have any teeth in it, because that is a recipe for corruption. Yeah, so we have to bear that in mind. So I say hats off to Mrs. Malahoo Fort, and don't make them call you down. Stand your ground. Yeah. Well, the people say because she never get in a ministerial position this time around, she's free. Not that she's jabbing them. That was my little take on it, So I wonder if she's jabbing them. But a lot of people are saying, hey, she's free to speak her mind. And it's refreshing to see somebody from the government side speaking out. It's like they are speaking their mind for once. Yeah. So, what do you say?
Feeling your purpose, God revealing.
Don't stop.
Don't stop. Push on. Me show love, cause I got in me. Words of wisdom busting on me. Lead me and lead greatness in me. No lack God provide for me. Lord God, oh you want so good. You shame the devil, me know you're good. Me can't hold it. Jesus, me can't hold it. You name me a ball out. I be killing me a big call out. Sweet Holy Spirit, you're so good to me. King Jesus love me. Me no shame me a call out. Jesus name me ball out. Sweet Holy Spirit, you're so good to me. I know Jesus love me. Growing up, me never seen no mommy. Regular me ask granny, me daddy. She 115 away. I'm if they tell you about hungry. Man go through some real struggle, real dead pain. The way me stressed out is like me going insane. Mentally, physically, emotionally, literally. I don't know what to do. You see right now. But see I swear like Ryan Mark. I swear every day. For those are Red Hills and Portmore. Next year, me a go buy couple. You name me a ball out. I be killing me a fi call out. Sweet Holy Spirit, you're so good to me. King Jesus love me. Me no shame me a call out. Jesus name me ball out. Sweet Holy Spirit, you're so good to me. I know Jesus love me. Me show love cause I got in me. Words of wisdom busting on me. Lead me and lead greatness in me. No lack God provide for me. Lord God, oh you want so good. You shame the devil, me know you're good. Me can't hold it. Jesus, me can't hold it. You name me a ball out. I be killing me a fi call out. Sweet Holy Spirit, you're so good to me. King Jesus love me. Me no shame me a call out. Jesus name me ball out. Right now, sweet Holy Spirit, you're so good to me. I know Jesus love me. You see when you come from a place where them write you up and say now become nothing in life. Me used to name porridge, breakfast, lunch and dinner. Real talk. Remember when me used to go Frankfield Primary at Clarendon. Them cause me say me now become nothing in life. But by the grace of the living God, me a call out. Jesus name me ball out. Blessing
your life, over your family. God is bringing out over all that concerns you. My life, oh, the best, the very best, yeah, yeah, the best in my life. Oh, the best, the very best, the best in my life. Let's go. When my life seems dark, He calls out the light. Even when I'm crying, I know He's working in the background to bring out the best in my life. You see, He's bringing out the best in my life. When I feel forsaken, Jesus is my best friend. Even in the tempest, I believe it's working for the best, 'cause He's bringing out the best in my life. I know He's bringing out best in my life. Yeah, God is bringing out the best in my life. Jesus is bringing out, God is bringing out the best in my life. Oh, the best, the very best, the best in my life. Oh, the best, the very best, the best in my life. When I'm sick, He heals me. From the chains He sets me free. When I'm lost, He finds me. He's giving me what's best for me. 'Cause He's bringing out the best in my life. Jesus is bringing out best in my life. When I cry, He comforts me. When I'm down, He lifts me up. When I feel like losing it, I'm reminded of His promises that He's bringing out the best in my life. Lord, You're bringing out the best in my life. God is bringing out the best in my life. Jesus, You're bringing out. God is bringing out the best in my life. Oh, the best, the very best, the very best, the very best, the best in my life. Oh, the best, the very best, the very best. Lord, You're bringing out my life. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Bringing out the best in my life. I'm so happy You're bringing out. God is bringing out the best in my life. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the best, the very best, the very best, the very best, the best in my life. Yeah, yeah. Oh, the best, the very best, the very best, the best in my life. Jesus, You're bringing out the best in my life.
Yeah, man. Bringing out the best in my life. Edith Warmer, right here on Caribbean Vibes Radio Network, covering the globe like no other can. Also live on Fit FM 96.7, your live, your music and linkage radio. Yeah. So, ladies and gentle people, we have more clips of people talking about the Naira bill. This time, it is Damian Crawford.
The lawyer for the procurement process. I would say I have multiple evidence that procurement is not as guilty as we're seeking to make procurement. This entire bill seems to suggest that procurement is the chief hindrance on the capacity to implement. But if we look at our current situation with Spark program, for example, which have already passed procurement, which have already been granted in contract, the level of inefficiencies continue. Indeed, we have seen just in the last conversation over the budget that Spark, which was to end in 2027, have indicated that it now end until 2030, and that funds that were supposed to
Yeah, that's Damian Crawford. And put him for sit down a little bit. So.
Yeah, but turn off the mic. Spark, based on all documents submitted to the House, is a contract-bound program that ends in the next financial year, not 2030, and he needs to provide evidence.
Mr. Speaker, there's an unfortunate habit that has evolved for us to wantonly disrupt each other. However, the book that was published by the government called the Estimate of Expenditures indicated that they would have been spending for Spark up to the 40 billion up until 2030.
Yes,
he was asked about that and he himself responded. So I do not know. The minister also indicated in answering the question that he presumed it might have been a mistake. Right? So the fact of the matter is that the estimate of expenditure, Speaker, I believe that as is, the bill introduced great risk. It introduced great risk of corruption being masked by the process in which contracts are selected. It introduced great risk that small investors may be at the back of the line because of the duty of prioritization within entities that already claim that they have overstaffed, understaffed realities. It includes many risks because it creates expectations that may not be likely to be executed within the public. And it creates many risks because it puts within a single individual a certain level of authority. We on this side are of the opinion that anything that is necessary should be done for our reclamation, for our rebuilding, for our re-engaging of the people and our economic activity.
MAGA influencers.
Damian Crawford jacket.
Speaker, is that
Damian Crawford jacket? Big door. You need a. I want just Damian. You're a young boy now, man. You have to do a little bit better. You want to lead the party. Let me talk. Damian, come to the front of the line so a little bit. Let me talk to you. You want to lead the party, boss. You have to look sharp on that, you know. Yeah, man, you can. Yeah, it matters. Looks, trust me. People take them things into consideration when they're voting for. That's one of the things where them knock Mark Golding for, you know, call them chaka. You know, present himself as a prime ministerial material looking. You know, I say him not brilliant and him can't manage with us. People just say, oh, chaka. So Damian, yeah man, you have you're not that old. You can do a little bit, probably a little bit better than that, man. Your suit look like my grandfather. Yeah, man, you see, some older guys in there look sharper than you. You know, your suit, your jacket a little bit too big. Anyway, good evening to you, Sister Chambers. How are you doing? Lady Chambers and Lady Jacqueline Drisdale. How are you? Yeah, how are you? Good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Alright, so what else do we have? Oh, get back to some more music, huh? Alright, let's do that. Let's get back to some more music and then we're gonna come back and
Kevin Downswell.
It's a little bit
send
more.
back the devil go down hell. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run in and they are saved. My safety is in Jesus. My protector is Jesus. When I'm in trouble, I call that name. Jesus. My burden bearer. Jesus. My heavy load sharer. Jesus. My bridge over troubled water. Jesus. Stick closer than a brother. Jesus. Somebody call that name. Jesus. Somebody call that name. Jesus. I beg you call that name. Jesus. Beg you call that name. Jesus. When my family forsake me. Jesus. When I'm feeling lonely. Jesus. When I have no money. Jesus. All kind of problems surround me. Jesus. Somebody call that name. Jesus. Somebody call that name. Jesus. I beg you call that name. Call upon the name of the Almighty One. Call him up. When the enemies attack you, wanna put you in a shuttle and you fight in the battle just. Call him up. When your life in a trouble and you can't take the struggle, man, no make the pressure kill you just. Call him up. When the rent man I look for you, family your pressure, you know nothing up on the table. Call him up. Call upon him for make a miracle, cause anything is possible. Power in the name of Jesus. The Lord is my light and my salvation. We tell it to the world from about 91. So we telling them again in the
man strong. Me no self-righteous, I'm just a man. No, me not perfect. Doing what I can, understand. Coming know me and me purpose. God him have the plan, and me faith in the man.
Jesus, my burden bear. Jesus, my heavy load share. Jesus, my bridge over troubled water. Jesus, stick closer than a brother. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, I beg you call that name. Jesus, beg you call that name. Jesus, when my family forsake me. Jesus, when I'm feeling lonely. Jesus, when I have no money. Jesus, all kind of problems surround me. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, I beg you call that name. This is for somebody. Mountains on my left, mountains on my right, fear on my back. I see the Red Sea in sight. God, me, I go call your name. God, me, I go call your name. Me, I go call your name until your power touch down and bring some change. Mountains on your left, mountains on your right, fear on your back. You see the Red Sea in sight. You have to call him name. Yes, you have to call his name. We are going to call him name until his power touch down and bring some change. Call him up.
When your pocket full of money, things pretty, your sonny give thanks for prosperity.
Call him up.
When you know you're living happy, doing better with your family, thank him for the legacy.
Call him up.
When the blessing and the salary take you out of poverty, give him the glory.
Call him up.
When things get lovely, nice and bubbly, just remember the name of
Jesus.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. Me tell it to the world from about 91. So me telling them again in a me new hit song. Make them know we have to stay firm and strong. Me no self-righteous, I'm just a man. No, me no perfect. Doing what I can, understand. Coming know me and me purpose. God him have the plan, and me faith in the man.
Jesus, my burden bear. Jesus, my heavy load share. Jesus, my bridge over troubled water. Jesus, stick closer than a brother. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, I beg you call that name. Jesus, beg you call that name. Jesus, when my family forsake me. Jesus, when I'm feeling lonely. Jesus, when I have no money. Jesus, all kind of problems surround me. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, I beg you call that name. Jesus, Jesus,
Call that name
Jesus,
all the time.
Jesus,
The burden bearer,
Jesus,
Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Oh,
Jesus,
stay close
Jesus,
to the troubles and trial.
Jesus,
He's the one who I dial.
Jesus, when my family forsake me. Jesus, when I'm feeling lonely. Jesus, when I have no money. Jesus, all kind of problems surround me. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, somebody call that name. Jesus, I beg you call that name. Jesus.
Huh.
Somebody call the name. Call out the name. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close to that time of evening when we will have to pack up our bundles and get out of here. But there's one thing that I want to touch base. There's another thing that I want to touch base. And it is the Justin Fairfax story. Justin Fairfax. He was a former lieutenant governor, and he murdered his wife recently. And let me tell you something, man. There are many stories out there, and people are saying, you know. Well, let me say something, ladies and gentlemen. When you're in relationships, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You just got to be careful. And you have to make sure that you treat... I'm not condoning anything. I'm not saying this is a factor. You have to make sure that you treat your partner with respect and fairness. Fairness. If you decide that you can't live together and anything, whatever you guys achieve when you were married, consider it part of the settlement. But a lot of times people Let me just outline Justin Fairfax. Justin Fairfax was a very brilliant young man, right? And he rose to prominence. And you have to think about it now. You cannot become lieutenant governor of a state as a black man if you're mediocre. Just not gonna happen. So for this young man to rise to that level, lieutenant governor, and was looking to become governor himself, and I'm quite sure he was also thinking about being the president of the United States. And he fell from grace because somebody, I hope it's true, you know. I hope it's true. Because at this point, it would have been a tragedy. It would have been a tragedy because he was accused of sexual harassment and it ended his career. And according to news, even though not even though, he tried to get jobs elsewhere and nobody wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole because of the sexual harassment allegations, and it broke him. It broke him. And the final straw that broke the camel's back was he was being ordered to vacate the family house. He was being ordered to leave the family house. And according to him, that was probably a bridge too far. So, mental health is a serious issue. Very, very serious issue. And the guy was struggling. He lost everything. He lost all his security. Remember, this man had security detail, you know. People, when you're riding that high, you know, people keep saying, yes, sir, no, sir. They open the door for you, sir. You know, you're going in, they open the door. You're coming out, they open the door. You're used to people being at your beck and call. And then you lose all of that, and apparently you can't really find a job because nobody don't want to touch you. And the wife decided that, hey, listen, I'm going to divorce. He spiraled out of control and he ended up killing her and killing himself. Very, very sad story. But, what are you going to do? Ladies and gentlemen, we need to be fair in what we do. Be careful. Be careful. And I'm not saying these things won't happen even when you're fair, because sometimes the man, they don't want to let go of the woman. Like how them create them. You know? So, that's one thing. But anyway, I think that's where I'm going to leave it for this week. I want to say thanks to you all. Thanks to all the listeners on YouTube and Linkage Radio. Also Fit FM 96.7. That's where we're going to leave it this evening. That's all the time we have. I will catch you next. You know, I'm not going to put it out there for Sunday. I don't know. I'm not making that commitment right now. I just have too much burning right now. Too much iron burning. But anyway, gonna leave you with this song. Big God, big God, big God. I'm gonna leave you with this one right here, alright? So take care of yourselves, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful rest of the evening.
Check it out, y'all. Big God, God, you hold the keys to my home.